The current rise in Lake Victoria water level stands at 13.32 meters as of 30th April 2020. That is according to the Uganda's Ministry of Water and Environment. The rising is said to have started on 1st October 2019 and has consistently gone up from 12 meters to its current level. This is a rise of 1.32 meters attained in only 6 months, and the level is only 0.08 meters away from the highest level ever recorded.
For our record, the highest was in 1964 when the lake level was at 13.41. It has gone far now to that 13.44, which is a big risk for our country, for those people who stay on the lake shores, even in some highlands.
Lake Victoria is a huge transboundary water body shared by Kenya, Tanzania and Uganda, with about 23 rivers that pour their water in it. Some of these rivers originate as far as Rwanda and Burundi. Therefore, whenever it rains in those countries, water finds its way into Lake Victoria. The only challenge remains that there is only one exit for that running water, which is through River Nile at Jinja. The State Minister for Water, Ronald Chibule, says the quick rise in water level has also been accelerated by human activities, especially environmental degradation like deforestation, encroachment on wetlands, lake shores and on the river banks. Chibule says government have swung into action to forge ways on how to tackle this big challenge, which is not only national but regional, cutting across all East African member countries sharing Lake Victoria.
We have taken steps to warn them. Others have always defied. They have built, they have antagonized the ecosystem, the river banks, and I believe this has contributed to the problem.
Buvuma is among the districts in Uganda that have been greatly affected by Lake Victoria's rising water. Buvuma is comprised of 52 islands, which falls into 9 sub-counties of Busamzi, Lubya, Lyabana, Nairambi, Buvuma Town Council, Lwaje, Bugaya, Buwoya and Buema. Buvuma Member of Parliament, Robert Migadendugwa, says very many people, including the residents, fishermen and the business community, are counting losses in a number of ways due to the rising water.
The situation is actually worse because of flooding due to the increase in the water levels. All landing sites are affected. All of them are affected. Some islands are actually, submerging. We have Luwero Island, which had over 1,500 people. We are now trying to evict some of them, the nearest island, which is Libu.
A number of schools in Buvuma failed to start for the first term in the 2020 academic year because the structures in different schools had already sunk into the water. When the Kyaggwe TV reporter visited some of the learning sites in different islands, he found residents staying in the houses that were already in the middle of the water just because they had nowhere to shift to.
The problem we are facing in Lubya here is a lot of water. Flood, where we do our businesses, has a lot of water. There is nowhere we can go. Inside is full of water. No work is going on. We are suffering a lot. Let the government help us. Our children are not schooling now because of this water. Flood is too much. We are suffering. I tell you, we are going to suffer from a lot of diseases here. This water is too dirty.
People are lacking where to sleep. They are lacking where to cook the food from. Some people, they are splitting feces in this stagnant water, which is going to brought for us too much of diseases, for example, cholera. And then time we can start suffering from cholera. Because the water now is stagnant, we are suffering from malaria, too much of mosquito, breakdown of diarrhea, which is really affecting our children. The schools are now full of water. Our children are not going to school due to the outcome of floods at Lubya Parish.
The problem is the water.
How is water
flooding? Flooding. Lubya, it is flooding. Then we are the one of what? De balonzi. Aha, tuje mukumangu.
Obuzibu webuli kubanga eri wagula abajjasa tebatuganayo okuzimbayo ki amayumba. Omuntu ali mu mazzi ayagala agende wagula azimbekeyo wagula amayumba naye omujjasi tamukkiriza agamba temukome wala temutuyingirira eri waggulu ate gye basula yeriko faasi ennungi omuntu gyasobola okuzimbako akayumba.
As one of the communities with very many children, the young ones are as well struggling to cope up with the situation. Before the COVID-19 pandemic, which caused the lockdown in all the East African member states, the member of the East African Legislative Assembly, Mathias Kasamba, toured Lubia sub-county and Lubia learning site in particular, which lost a number of villages to the lake. According to Kasamba's findings, health-related illnesses like bilharzia, cholera, malaria were at the increase.
The houses on this learning site are already submerged, which is a major challenge. It has caused a lot of health hazards. There are so many bilharzia diseases which are going to come across from here. Malaria because of the stagnation of the water, and also the worms. Children are no longer able to stay in school, even playing around this beach. So we pray that government responds. It is a major problem, which is not a one-off, but we must look at how we can handle it amicably.
Paul Mboya, the officer in charge Zero Police Post, says the police is as well not spared in this situation.
I'm the in charge Zero Police Post. Since I reported here in November 1st, I got a challenge of lake shores being overloaded because of due to rains. The lake floods are too much. As you are seeing, this is the entrance of my office, but now it is impenetrable. Otherwise, we are trying our level best with the community to see that we can shift maybe to another place for better services. Because where I am now, we can't get proper access of everything with the community or to receive our services freely.
He said he had got a communication from his supervisor, the district police commander of Buvuma district, Salama Namutos, informing the residents that if they doesn't provide another space with structures for the police, the security team was to be withdrawn from this learning site until when the situation gets back to normal.
DPC told me, if the community doesn't know the value of security, at least you should vacate the place and come to the base at the district. So since that time I called the leaders, local leaders, who have joined the hands. They are looking for other way around, so that they can retain security around to continue with our services.
Buvuma MP Migade said at Luwelo learning site, the police shifted to the nearby learning site after their structures were washed away by the water.
The police post there, they ran away to another island called Liaban. So now there are people with the properties, with engines worth billions, but no police post. Not because police doesn't want to offer service, but it is now a dangerous, place to live in. At the same time, even where the situation is better off, where we think these people should actually move, the police is also on the run. We have seen in Zero, the police post is also, submerging. The police is also crying for help. Now we are fundraising to transfer the police post, because if they are to move, then people's property will also be in danger.
However, Ever since this situation started in 2019, the leaders have called upon government through the Ministry of Relief and Disaster Preparedness to at least provide food to the affected people, but in vain.
At the same time, you find the security officers also crying for food because there are no gardens on these islands. So we call upon government that intervention, like it was done in Kampala and Wakiso, there's also need to intervene in the island. Otherwise, it is not easy to have a hungry police officer taking care of a hungry, public fellow. It's not easy. Therefore, these people, there are no gardens, and the houses are being demolished, so they are on the run, and the situation is not good unless government intervenes.
The hope for some assistance to be extended to the people now lies in the hands of the Uganda Red Cross Society. This was after Buvuma District Woman MP Jennifer Nantume Egunyu introduced Red Cross Branch Manager for Greater Mukono Region, Sam Mugisha, to her fellow leaders in a meeting held last week.
Introduce Mr. Mugisha, the in-charge Red Cross Mukono, to you people officially. He's a gentleman who is seated here due to the problems that we have in Buvuma. When I look at Buvuma, it is not only COVID, it is like we are double beaten. Because we have COVID, we have the rising waters, and there is a relationship between the COVID and the rising waters. Because, doctor, there is no way you can say that there is no relationship, just in case you argue. Because when the waters are rising, people's houses get broken, they can't keep the social distance as they run for help to each other.
Apart from being in the middle of Lake Victoria, the biggest part of Buvuma district is rocky, which makes it difficult for any farming activity. That implies that apart from shelter challenges, getting what to eat is another big crisis on the side of the islanders. Transport is also affected as the only means of transport, the ferry, which is supposed to link the mainland to the islands, is also down for over 3 months. At Chindi, the waiting yard for both the passengers and the vehicles is also surrounded by the stagnant water. As a result, vehicles for the civil servants and non-government organization workers that operate in Buvuma can no longer cross the lake. They are parked at Chindi, and their owners get public means to transport them to their different destinations in the islands. The movement of goods like the agricultural commodities is now possible to only those who can hire boats, engines and fuel them, which is so costly.
Nange wannemye okutuuka